Breeze Nation, what is going on? This is your boy Jordan JC, aka Mr. Meaty, back on the national sports show, The Breeze. And I want to talk to you guys about a very interesting topic. It's been on my mind for the last week. There was a podcast, or rather a morning show, WFAN in New York. One of the hosts, Boomer Esiason, a very well-known quarterback of yesteryear, that came out and had some very interesting things to say. Almost felt like a crash out versus Caleb Williams and Carl Williams after a book came out kind of detailing some of the things that the family and specifically Carl Williams was trying to do, or let's just say manipulate, when it came to the previous NFL draft. A lot of reports were stating that the family and Carl Williams in specifically didn't really feel comfortable with Caleb Williams coming to the Chicago Bears. Obviously, everybody knew that the Bears held the number one pick. We knew that they were on the fence with Justin Fields, their previous quarterback, and they were going to go in a new direction. That wasn't Ryan Poles' draft pick, and so he gave him that previous year to see if he could prove himself. And to an extent, he did, but you kind of saw the writing on the walls that they were going a different direction, that they just couldn't pass up on such a special talent as Caleb showed himself to be in college, being a Heisman Trophy winner and just having a really all-around spectacular career at USC. And so with that in mind, Carl Williams said, hey, I know you guys' track record. You all are saying that this is where quarterbacks go to die. We've seen that. There's never been a 4,000-yard passer in Chicago history. There's never been a quarterback that's thrown for over 30 touchdowns in a season. I don't know if I want my son going here. Well, here's what Boomer Esiason had to say to that. He says, when you think about this, I think a lot of these kids and their parents nowadays, and the level of entitlement is breathtaking. It's no wonder why he failed initially, and it's no wonder why the coach got fired. Now they, meaning the Chicago Bears, go out and get an offensive coach in Ben Johnson, and now it's on him. It's going to be on him to live up to these so-called lofty expectations that he has for himself and that his father has for his son. I understand that there could be a discussion that Chicago could be a place where quarterbacks go to die, but go fix it. Be the reason that the team is going to turn it around and be the player that you think you are. Now, if you think he stopped there, you're wrong. Because to a certain degree, that was okay. That was a reasonable statement, right? That's how you feel. If you think that this is where quarterbacks don't pan out, you've seen the Mitch Trubisky's, you've seen the Rex Grossmans, you've seen the Justin Fields, you've seen the Jay Cutlers. As talented as they are, it doesn't pan out. They don't lead to wins. They don't become the franchise quarterbacks. We haven't won a Super Bowl in over 20 years, right? 30 years. But does that mean that you have a right to talk about the way that they want to manipulate things? Does that mean that you have a right to talk about the father in the way that you did? Well, here's the reason why I say that. He goes on further to say, keep your mouth shut. Talking about Caleb Williams, actually. You're going into the greatest league that there's ever been for the sport we all love. You're going to have a chance one day to make $500 million because guys like me and guys before me all went on strike so you could actually make more money. So keep your pie hole shut, buddy, and go out and play football and earn your keep and earn your respect. Now, personally, do I have a problem with him saying go out and earn your respect? No. When you're applying for a new job, when you're going into a new environment and you have nothing on your resume, it's completely a clean slate, right? Doesn't matter what you did before in the other levels. Doesn't matter if you were the Heisman. This is a new level. This is where it all matters, right? The NFL is a man's game. It's a man's sport. I agree with the part where you say, go and earn your respect. Go and earn your stripes. Don't just come in here and think that things are supposed to be handed to you. That part makes sense. But the part about keeping your pie hole shut and that, you're going to have a chance to make, a $500,000 and you need to just shut up and do what you think you need to do. There's a little bit of hypocrisy in that. And I'll tell you why in a second. But the real reason is, why are you aiming this at the son? Why are you not aiming this at the father more so? And why is it that you have such a problem? Because it does seem like there's a tinge of a little bit of hatred. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying that's fact. I'm not saying that there's reports or sources out there that Boomer Esiason has hatred personally for the family. It just came off like that. It looked as if he got a little bit too into his take and he got a little heated, a little hot-headed. And so for me, my question is, look at the entire encompassing conversation that the son had with that the father had with the son. When we look back at the reports of them trying to see if they can manipulate the CPA, and even reports of saying that they would skip the NFL and maybe go to the UFL, spend a couple seasons there just so they cannot end up in Chicago. That is a concern. However, do you not expect a father to make sure that his son is set up for success? I'm sure every father that's probably listening to this, every father in history is making sure that their kid, their son, their daughter, whoever it is set up for success in their career, in their job field. It's no different when you're coming into the greatest sports league in history. The father has no concern over the politics of the game and the just shut up and dribble type of statement that you made. The father is concerned about his son. And if you have a team that has a track record, as much as I love the Bears, and I'm a Chicago fan myself, where quarterbacks have not panned out forever, no matter how talented they may seem, no matter how talented they look in college, they have not panned out in Chicago for one reason or another, whether it be we don't set them up with a good offensive line, the head coach to quarterback pairing is putrid, the offensive coordinating is bad, the schemes are bad, the old school mentality of running the ball all the time is from yesteryear, and we're not keeping up with the league and how it's a little bit more pass happy. Whatever excuse you want to use for the Chicago Bears not keeping up with the times and having that guy at QB1, my thing is Carl Williams is not wrong. Carl Williams is doing exactly what every dad you've seen on national media do. LeVar Ball, Deion Sanders, who is a megastar in the NFL, told his son, and you saw the backlash from it. He went from a top 10 pick to, I believe, the 5th round to the Cleveland Browns because his father said, you know what? I know what's behind the curtain. I know some of these teams and the politics that they have. You do not want to go to this team. I'm going to make sure my son doesn't go to that team. And so that's part of it. As a parent, you care about your family first and foremost. And so it's not beyond imagination that Carl Williams did what he did. So, Boomer Esiason, I agree with you that there needs to be a certain level of respect earned. However, this is a new age. We have to admit that this is a new generation. This is a new league. The young athletes have more control, even starting in college. Caleb Williams was a millionaire before he even touched the NFL field because of NIL deals. He was in his own apartment when he went to college. The man was living on his own. And so you can't really sit here and criticize the manipulation or what they were trying to do. It hasn't happened, or rather, it's happened before. You've seen the Mannings try to manipulate the draft. And oh, by the way, here's where I say, is this hypocrisy? I want to take you all the way back to the 1984 NFL draft, people. There's an NFL Films video of one Boomer Esiason in which NFL reporter, legendary reporter Peter King, shares a story about Esiason's stance on the Indianapolis Colts. Mentions on the eve of the draft, they loaded up their moving truck and ditched Baltimore. Boomer Esiason, being the loyal Terp that he was from Maryland, said, I don't care if they draft me. I'm never going to step foot on the field for the Indianapolis Colts. Huh. Well. Sounds like you wanted to make some changes. Sounds like you wanted to kind of shake, rattle, and roll some things before you enter the NFL. Sir, is that a little bit of hypocrisy on your part? Why didn't you just shut up and just come into the greatest league in the history of leagues and sports? Why didn't you just be appreciative of being on the Indianapolis Colts? No, it's because you felt you had a voice. You wanted to go where you wanted to go. A lot of people have that issue. A lot of people want to play for the team that they grew up rooting for, or play for the team that looks the part, or play for the Super Bowl champions. People want to win. It makes sense. So when Carl Williams says, hey, this is where we just saw a regime in Ryan Pace, in Matt Nagy, in Matt Eberflus, oh, my goodness, the list goes on. Shane Waldron. Like, you're looking at the track record and it's piss poor. So as a father, you're saying, man, do we really want to go here? Are you just going to be another name in the long line of names that have failed at the most important position in this sport? However, what you're missing, Boomer Esiason, is the response Caleb gave. When he finally met with Ryan Poles at Hallis Hall, Ryan Poles laid out a plan. He showed him exactly what they were trying to do. He showed him the blueprint, which has been realized at this point. He said, hey, these are not the last year's Bears. These are not yesterday's Bears. These are not the Bears of old. We're trying to change the culture here. We're trying to change the organization and the way things are done from the top to bottom, from the front office to on the field, the way we practice, the way we play, and the way we win. We want it to be consistent, and we want you to be the guy behind that at quarterback one. Here's the plan. We're trying to get the best offensive mind in the game right now. We're also trying to shore up this defense. Oh, by the way, the protection that we don't have, where it messed up Justin Fields, we're trying to fix that for you. Now, agreeably, the first year was bad, 68 sacks. That's putrid. However, Ryan Poles corrected it in this offseason. It looks as if he did a heck of a job getting Joe Thuney, Jonah Jackson, Drew Dahlman, and then winning the draft, got Ozzie Trapillo and Luke Newman. And so this looks as if this is the team that Caleb and Carl have been asking for. And so Boomer Esiason, to sit there again and say that you don't want to go to a team, or rather be the person that says he wants to fix it rather than complain, that's exactly what Caleb Williams said. That's exactly what he said when he met with Ryan Poles. Afterwards, he said, I want to be the guy. I'm going to Chicago. He stamped it. And that is exactly what happened. Ever since Caleb has been here, he has been a consummate pro. He has been all for Chicago. He has been all in. He's done the bear claw. He yelled coming on the stage when he got picked by the Bears. He talked about how he wants to make sure that he has all of these different accolades that he wants to be. Ben Johnson said he's going to make sure that Caleb Williams surpasses 4,000 yards in multiple seasons, 30 touchdowns. Like, the list can go on and on. Caleb is definitely ingrained in Chicago culture now. He is all in. The Bears after every single interview. So you cannot sit up here and say that he is still complaining, even after a 5-12 season. If you notice, when they won the very last game in Lambeau Field in Green Bay, there was a small clip of him walking in the locker room, walking towards the locker room after the game was over, letting out a victorious yell. And he said, what a win. 2025, more things to come in the future. This is just the beginning. Big things are coming. That is a sign of a leader. That is a sign of a quarterback that's looking at the future rather than sulking in the fact that, okay, yeah, we had a horrible season. Didn't start off good. But look at all the chaos around me. Didn't have an OC that went over film with me. I had to watch it myself. Had a head coach that was piss poor and lost us some magnificent games that we should have won by percentage-wise. Just epic losses. And didn't know how to manage time, didn't know how to manage the players, all of these things around him, and he still had a decent season. And so what does that say for the future? That says that Caleb Williams could be that guy that fixes all of the things that we've been seeing wrong with this organization. And so I put a little pause on Boomer Esiason, one for his hypocrisy, because he technically did the same thing when he was drafted, but also because as a father, you're going to do what you're going to do for your kid. So again, that's how I feel. I'm obviously in the Caleb camp. We want to see the Bears do well. I think that Boomer was right in the fact that, yes, it still needs to be earned. Your respect, it still needs to be in front of you as being earned in this league. And I think Caleb is being put in a position to do that. Honestly, there are no more excuses this year. You have a full team that has been stacked around you to be successful. Challenging schedule this year, but we're going to see if he's up to the task. But you do know that he has the heart of a leader at the very least. So I want to get you guys' thoughts on that. Man, appreciate you guys for tapping into our new Breeze Sports National Talk Show. And hey, till next time, I'm out.